Okay, I think we're live. Good afternoon and welcome to Wellbeing Wednesday Live here on the Educate to Flourish YouTube channel with me, Frederica Roberts. I'm the founder of Educate to Flourish. Now, before we get started on today's session, I'd like to start with something I introduced a couple of weeks ago, which is to take the emotional temperature of the virtual room. So to see how we are, how we're feeling right now, because more than ever, I think right now, with the situation that we're in lockdown, in various stages of lockdown, depending on where you're tuning in all over the world, then we are all finding that our emotions can vary quite substantially. So let's get us started on that. And I'm going to share with you a screen so you can see how to share your emotional temperature with us. So here we go. So hopefully now you can see the screen there with the details. So the easiest way to do it on your phone or on your browser is to go to polev.com. And then once you get onto the screen, it asks you for a code, and that's Frederica Rob 992. That's polev.com. Frederica Rob 992. And there you can put emojis, you can put words. I believe you can either write them with a space in between them and it'll treat them as separate words, or just press a word, then type a word, then enter, and another, and then enter, and do the same with emojis. Just let me know how you're feeling right now. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever. I'm going to take you to a slightly different screen now to show you how I'm feeling, and then we can also see what other people are contributing. So just bear with me one moment while I get the right screen up. Here we go. It's great, this double screen stuff, but then you end up kind of flitting all over the place. Right, so share screen, and that should hopefully now give me the right screen to share with you. Right, so at the moment there's only mine on there, but if you're watching and you want to share with me how you're feeling, then please do. I'm going to pop that on full screen so you can see that at the moment I've got a bit of a mixture of emotions there. I'm feeling very excited. I get very excited about going live and chatting to you here. Oh, and there's more coming up. I feel grateful and tired, grateful to be here, grateful that whoever you are, you've just contributed, which is wonderful, and grateful for all the wonderful things, despite the situation that we're in, actually, the wonderful times that many of us are lucky enough to manage to experience. And I've certainly had some amazing experiences that the enforced time with people like my youngest daughter and my husband is kind of allowing me to experience, which is wonderful. But I'm also tired. And I noticed that one of the comments there has been sleepy as well. And yeah, I can equate to that. I can certainly relate to that. It's something that, you know, that there's a mixture. There's people that are feeling really like their days are dragging on and they haven't got enough to do. And that must be really, really challenging at the moment. And then there's other people who like me, perhaps are finding that they've got an awful lot to do and the days are just flying by. I don't know how we're going through the days at the moment so quickly, and there just never seems to be enough time. And so, yes, probably a little bit tired, a little bit sleepy. And also, I think because dealing with so many emotions and with so much change and the worry, even when we're having good times, can actually lead, I suppose, to a kind of tiredness because we're processing an awful lot of stuff while we're getting on with our day. So keep putting your comments on there. Hopefully I'll have a chance at the end to come back to that and see how you're feeling. And thank you so much for participating and sharing what your emotional temperature is right now. Okay, so I'll stop the share now and go back to the presentation, so just bear with me. Okie dokie. Right. So hello. So I am Frederica Roberts, as I said before, and I am the founder of Educate to Flourish and managing director. The letters after my name, MAP, stand for Master in Applied Positive Psychology, which I completed last year at Anglia Ruskin University. And I'm currently doing a doctorate of education at Derby University. I'm absolutely passionate about all things to do with well-being and positive psychology and character development, but particularly in the context of education, supporting children and adults in the wider education community to flourish. This is something I feel really passionate about, and this is something that I do in my daily work through speaking, training, and writing. I also work as a speaker under the brand of the Happiness Speaker, and you can see there that I've got a couple of books out on the topic. So Recipe for Happiness is a fairly generic book on well-being that anybody can read, that I wrote in 2013, and then more specifically to education, I co-wrote with Elizabeth Wright, Character Toolkit for Teachers, and I'll say a little bit more about another development on that towards the end of this segment today. And also for Flourishing's Sake, which is coming out in August now, which I'm very, very excited. I've got actual copies with me now, and the people who've written endorsements, who've been kind enough to do so, and the people who've actually contributed their case studies to the book as examples of great positive education in action have started to receive their copies, but the general public will be available in August, but it is available to pre-order. Enough about me, enough about Educate to Flourish in general. I want to get on to talking to you about today's topic. And today's topic is to actually develop your strengths and how these can support well-being, and particularly within that, how to have strengths-based conversations, because it's easy enough to say, isn't it? Well, just bring strengths into the conversation, but how do we do it, and how does that look in reality? So let's just refresh our minds on strengths, character strengths, and what these mean. So a few weeks ago, I think in our first session, I talked about the VIA Character Institute, and you can find its information there at viacharacter.org. And the VA Character Institute is just one of the categorizations of character strengths, but it's one that I really like to use because it's particularly steeped in positive psychology research, and it's ongoing research that feeds into that. And according to the VIA Character Institute, and according to the research by Seligman and Peterson originally that fed into that, there are 24 character strengths that, no matter what your race, religion, age, cultural background, ethnicity, where you grow up, etc., none of that matters. We all have these strengths in some kind of shape or form. And the difference, of course, is how strongly we display certain strengths above others. And what they refer to as the signature strengths are the top 5 strengths that each of us have. But these are the 24 that you can see on the screen in front of you now. And I'm going to just come away from this screen a moment just to share with you how the website looks. Okay, so this is the VIA website there, and you can see there's lots and lots of information. You can actually go onto resources, and there's lots of resources, particularly right now, to help you with the COVID-19 crisis. So by all means, do have a look on there. I'll talk about other resources, as I always do, at the end of this session today. But what I wanted to particularly highlight from this website is this bit here, Take the Free Survey, where you do need to register an account, but it's absolutely free. And you can take a survey. They have an adolescent one and an adult one. So you can see here, you've got the youth survey for ages 10 to 17 and the adult survey. And you can register, and it saves all the previous instances of you doing it as well. It's completely free. And by doing it, you're contributing to the ongoing research as well. And that will tell you all of the 24 character strengths in the order in which you're displaying them based on your responses to questions. So when you answer the questions, don't overthink them, just answer them with the first kind of instinctive response that pops into your mind. There's all sorts of resources there as well that you can look at. There's resources for professionals working with adults and with young people. There's all sorts of stuff about research as well. So both if you want to conduct study as a researcher, but also research findings if you want to read about research into character strengths. And it also gives you the information about the 24 character strengths there. So very, very powerful in terms of what you can find out just from this one website. Okay, I'm going to stop the share now. Sorry, too many screens going on. Here we go. Right, that's it. So, why am I talking about character strengths today? Well, I wanted to talk particularly about character strengths in the context of strengths-based conversations. And the reason I thought about this particularly today is because yesterday I was on one of my daily walks, and my daughter Hannah, who's 20 years old, joined me on this particular walk. And it was a lovely long walk, and we picked nettles. Long story. I had this thing about wanting to make nettle risotto and fried battered nettle leaves. It was delicious. My daughter was a bit skeptical, but it was delicious. It's something that I'd had many years ago in Italy. I hadn't had the fritters before, but I'd had the nettle risotto. Being Italian, I wanted to try it again, and it was really delicious. So highly recommend it. Free resource. You can find nettles everywhere. Just make sure you wear long sleeves, long trousers, and gloves to protect your hands as well. But so as we were walking and had this lovely walk, we chatted as we always do, and we were wondering about this building that looked quite abandoned, and it looked like a doctor's surgery, but actually there were no cars there at all. And we thought, this is a bit odd for a large surgery like this not to have anybody in it, and it looked really closed up. And so we thought, well, is it a surgery? Isn't it? And I was just kind of wondering and about to walk past, and Hannah took a detour to go and look at the front. And then she said, well, it does say it's a surgery, but actually, I think it's probably not open because there's no signs. There's parking signs for doctors, but there's no active signs that say doctor surgery in the name of a surgery. Anyway, long story short, I said at this point, do you know, I've noticed, particularly since this lockdown, that you have a really strong character strength of curiosity. And she said, what, have you only just noticed? I'm really nosy. I just want to know what people are up to, and I'm just nosy. And I said, no, but particularly lately, I've noticed this strength of curiosity shining through over and above a lot of other strengths. And so we started to have a conversation about how she'd been displaying curiosity, how she's always wanting to explore different walking paths, how she's sharing with me what she's discovered when she goes out for a bike ride, how she takes little detours to see what happens at the end of a particular path. This is something that's been quite common to our walks. And how she just wants to know things. And when we wonder about something, she'll immediately go and look it up. And from this stemmed a really long conversation for about 20 minutes, half an hour, about her top strengths and how I'd seen her display them. And then, of course, we had conversations around, do you agree with what I'm seeing? And she was saying, oh, I didn't know that. I hadn't noticed this particular one. Oh, that's, yeah, you might be right there. I hadn't thought about it like that. Or, well, I thought my top strengths were this, that, and the other. And then we had the same conversation about me, which was really eye-opening in terms of the strengths that she saw in me. And that was really quite moving, and some that were different to what I thought. And so it was a wonderful conversation. It was really heartwarming. And she told me later that she, who actually usually mocks me for generally having something in my eye when we have emotional conversations, but actually she said she felt quite emotional having that conversation, and almost a little bit tearful in a good way, which is wonderful. And so this is how you can have the conversation. But then this led to a further conversation about the people that we know in our lives and the strengths that they display, the people that we love and what their strengths are, which actually led us to have a conversation with my husband when we got home about the strengths we'd noticed in him and telling him about those and how he's been displaying them. But we also started talking about some people that perhaps occasionally annoy us a little bit, and looking at them in a different light by focusing on their strengths and how they display them, and how sometimes perhaps the things that irritate us about those people actually stem from their strengths. Perhaps somebody who has a very strong strength of love might be displaying it in a way that might seem controlling, but actually they're doing it because they want the best for us. And sometimes they might be displaying strengths in a way that shows overuse of certain character strengths, but it's still a strength that they're displaying, and perhaps we should be more understanding of that. And it just helped us look at people in a different light, in a more positive light, by focusing on their strengths. So this is something that you can do with your family members, with your children, both your own children if you have them, or children that you teach, and with your friends and with your colleagues as well. And it doesn't matter whether you're together, going on a walk together, working together, if you are in a setting where perhaps you're still in school and still going into school, or you're another key worker going into school, into work. But you can also do it like this remotely. You can have a conversation via video, you can have a telephone conversation, you can even do it via WhatsApp message. You can let people know what strengths you have observed in them, but don't just tell them what the strength is. Tell them an example of why you've noticed, how you've noticed that particular strength. I promise you, even if it might feel a bit awkward at first for you to say it, and they might feel a little bit awkward and embarrassed because they don't know how to respond, people feel good when you tell them about their strengths. And you feel good for telling them about their strengths. And if you are able to actually initiate a conversation that naturally develops out of this, then it's an incredibly uplifting, positive conversation that really boosts your and their well-being. And they may go away afterwards and do the same and have that kind of conversation with other people. It could really start a fantastic ripple effect, and you don't know where that's going to go from there. So try it. You never know. That would be my recommendation for you. Try it, and do go to the VIA Character Strengths website, so viacharacter.org. But you can also look up character strengths on the Jubilee Centre for Virtues and for the Jubilee Centre for Character Virtues, I think is the full word. But if you look up Jubilee Centre at the University of Birmingham, my brain has just shut down temporarily there. But the Jubilee Centre at the University of Birmingham, it's all about character education, and they have fantastic resources as well on character strengths. So have a look at that as well. Now, I've mentioned the inventory as well. So if you feel tempted to do it, do it. It's absolutely free. And when you do it, you're contributing to the ongoing research as well. If you have any questions for me, by the way, as we go on, as always, you can type them into the right-hand side. There's a little chat box. You can type your comments. I keep looking over to the left so that I don't miss it. If you do have any comments or questions, and I can respond. If you're not watching this live and you want to comment about this video, you want to give me suggestions for future topics or resources for me to share, or if you're interested in being a contributor, I had a guest last week. I had Kate McAllister talking about anchors for well-being. If you have expertise in well-being, particularly to help teachers, parents, and students in schools, then do get in touch with me. I'll share my contact details later, but you can also use the hashtag on Twitter, and I will be looking out for those. I hope you like my new background. You can use the hashtag Wellbeing Wednesday Live and WB Wed Live. Either of those hashtags I will be monitoring and I will be responding to. So if you'd like to share resources that I can share in the coming weeks, or have any questions you'd like me to address, or any topics for me to cover, or you would like to contribute to future episodes, then please use those hashtag Wellbeing Wednesday Live, WB Wed Live, either of those, and contact me on my Twitter accounts, which I will share at the end as well. So, time for me to share some more resources with you. So bear with me while I tackle the technology again. Here we go. Right, so we've shared the VAA, so I'll move on to the next tab. So this is something that I did with my friend and co-author of Character Toolkit for Teachers, Elizabeth Wright. We did a live video on Monday this week on the Special Education, PSHE and Early Years Resources page by Jessica Kingsley Publishers, who are our publishers, because we have also created a Character Toolkit Strengths Cards pack, which is coming out in June. But we didn't want to wait until June for teachers and parents to be able to use this resource. So of course you can pre-order it now on Amazon. And if you watch the video, and in fact, if you look at this page here, you'll see that there is information about a 15% discount if you order from JKP once the cards go live on the 18th of June. But the reason I'm telling you about this now is because the video replay is available over here. All these links, as usual, will be on the information for this particular episode. So if you look underneath the video on YouTube when you watch the replay, you will find all of these links listed. You can watch the replay in which we share ways that you can use the character strength cards. And of course, if you have other character strength cards that aren't ours, you're more than welcome to use them in the same way. There are ideas there for how you can use them to have those conversations with other people about strengths. And here is the really exciting bit. Not only are we offering a 15% discount for anybody who orders from the 18th of June, if you get the discount code from Jessica Kinsley Publishers, but we wanted to make these available right now for free, absolutely free. So we've shared the link here in the video, but also this link takes you directly to the download page. It is absolutely free. You just have to register on the platform with Jessica Kingsley Publishers, because it's the way they've done it. They've put it on their library where you would also get your books, etc., if you ordered ebooks, for example. But you just click on the Get button there, you do a quick registration, and they will just immediately give you access for free to the strengths cards and the booklet that comes with the cards, which gives you lots and lots of ideas for how to use them, and also a little bit of the research behind the 30 character strengths and why we've used them and so on. So I hope you'll find that useful. We really wanted to do something that would be useful to parents and teachers right now. I don't think they will be available forever. I think once they're available for sale, JKP will take the free download down. So I suggest you get the free download now. It is available and formatted with instructions on the page here on how to print them yourself so that you can use them as double-sided cards. I hope you find that useful. I also want to very quickly mention who's going to be with us next week, because next week we're going to be talking to Selena Whitehead of Amazing People Schools. She is absolutely lovely. I've met her a few times. I've known her for quite a while now. And she's going to be with us next week talking about character strengths and how we can look at character strengths in lots of different ways, including through historical characters. And here is one of the resources that they've been sharing, that Amazing People Schools have been sharing online, which I thought was really fantastic. And this is their kindness strengths builder. So they've created a load of strengths builders, character strengths builders, and this one is specifically on kindness as a well-being workout. So there's lots of ways that you can practice different, this is their well-being workout, not their kindness one, but they have a kindness one as well, I believe, which I'm sure Selena will share next week. So here are lots of ways that you can give yourself a well-being workout by using different character strengths in different ways. So take a look at that. I'll share the link. It's one of their Twitter posts. Fantastic resource as well. And Selena will share lots more resources with us when we talk to her next week, and have a look at their website as well, amazingpeopleschools.com, where at the moment they've made loads of stuff available for free. So those are the resources I wanted to share with you this week. So I'll stop the share right now, and here I am back with you. So remember, you can, once we're no longer live, the live chat box won't be there for you to put comments on, but you will of course be able to comment on the video underneath, as you can with all YouTube videos. But you can also go on Twitter and message me or tweet me, and I'll give you the contact details in a moment. But you can also use the hashtag Wellbeing Wednesday Live or WBWed Live, and I will look out for those. So if you have any suggestions for topics around well-being and flourishing that you'd like me to address within the education sector, if you have any questions specifically about past episodes or anything you'd like me to address, if you'd like to contribute, if you have expertise that you'd like to share in one of the episodes, so you don't just have to look at me talking to you, and if you have any resources that you'd like me to share in future episodes, please use those hashtags to share those with me. And you can also do that by sharing, by getting in touch with my various Twitter accounts. So just bear with me while I share this particular screen as well, so you can get in touch with me. And you can do this by the usual means. You can go to at Frederica_R on Twitter or at EduFlourish on Twitter. And you can also email me at fred@educatetoflourish.org.uk. Okay, so I'll leave those up for a moment longer. That's at Frederica_R or at EduFlourish on Twitter. And you can email me at fred@educatetoflourish.org.uk. So as always, I really look forward to hearing from you. Wonderful. So here we go. So I'm back with you now, and we are pretty much done. I do have a couple of messages there. Hello, Selena. Thank you so much for your message. And I also look forward to speaking with you next week. I'm sure our viewers look forward to it as well. So do come back at 4 o'clock UK time on Wednesday next week to hear from Selena Whitehead from Amazing People Schools. And hello, Laura as well. Laura will be with us. Laura Martin is also somebody who's got a master's in applied positive psychology. Fantastic resources to share. I've shared with you her blog with lots of links to brilliant education resources before. And Laura will be with us the week after next, live here on Wellbeing Wednesday Live. So I really look forward to speaking to Laura then as well. Thank you both for tuning in, and thank you everybody else who's tuned in, and thank you everybody who can't watch live but who will be watching the replay. Do share these videos. It's great to get an audience sharing these with us. Share them with parents, share them with other teachers, and share the activities with the children that you teach and the children that you have in your own household, so that we can spread well-being and help children and other adults to flourish, particularly through this difficult time, but of course not only through this difficult time. All of these activities are things that you can do at any time. So this is it for today's Wellbeing Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure to be live with you again. And I look forward to being back with you Wednesday next week with Selena Whitehead from Amazing People Schools joining us. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Bye.